O'clock. So let's get this done, and then we'll get back to stuff I actually want to do. So Jim Harbaugh's staying. Okay. But it's not that's got the news, because we all agreed it was the best place for him. The team's locked and loaded. They're going to win the Big Ten again next year, barring something, I don't know, outrageous, unforeseen. And I think we all doubted the sincerity of the NFL interest. Well, here's the problem I have. I have no issue if you just say you're going back. But, of course, in U of M style, none of it adds up, and they have to sell you a narrative. My heart is at Michigan. No, it's not, Jim. Because for weeks you begged Carolina to get on the phone with you. And then for weeks you had to beg your Stanford network to give you an interview with Denver for a job that you aren't getting. And bottom line is, a 36-year-old offensive coordinator with 1 year experience named Ben Johnson is getting triple the job interviews that you're getting. You couldn't go to the NFL. So nobody wants to hear about you left your heart in San Francisco. You couldn't go anywhere. So welcome back, but spare me. Here's the second part of it that I just find totally banana land, totally insane. The school president informing the AD, hey, Seattle, we got a deal. Wait a second here. The athletic director, this is Ward Manuel's best, honestly, it's his best ability in life is to hide in plain sight. This guy would be a master of hide and go seek. You'd never find him. You could search the house 17 times. You'd never find Ward. And all the while, he was standing in the living room with a lampshade on his head, or disguised as like a cactus.
Or just sitting over in the chair,
right,
and you just didn't pay attention to him.
So the president and Harbaugh inform Ward they're going to get a deal done. If you have so little use or so little respect for your athletic director, and I think most Michigan fans agree with me on this one, just fire the man. Why the hell does Ward Manuel have a job?
I don't know, but I think Santa Ono kind of did that victory lap and said, Ward, you can go ahead and hit Indeed.com because you may not be here long enough. I did what you could not do. Mike, and I know I may be in the minority here. I don't know. Harbaugh may have learned his lesson last year when he came out and said, I'm never doing this again. When you read the quotes that he said, nowhere in there did he say, I'm coming back. Now, I think he will. Don't get it wrong. But he leaves the door open as if sometime this week the Broncos call him and say, hey, Jim, job is yours, he could walk away. All his statement did was give you some. Don't try to out happy. What does that mean? Well, stuff, things. So I don't know if it's a done deal. I think he learned last year, never say never. I'm gonna leave myself an out just in case. 99% sure he's going to come back. Mike, he created the Tinder account. He's just praying to God that somebody swipes on it.
So here's my question for Michigan fans. Are you happy he's back? Are you happy with how this played out? Look, we can all agree staying was like the most sensible thing. But when you look at it, he had to beg for Carolina to get on the phone with him. That is what has been reported. His side called for weeks. And it was nothing more than here, we'll talk to you. Now leave us alone. With Denver, it's the Stanford network. It's the only reason he got talked to. Condoleezza Rice, the Penners, all Stanford grads, all running the search.
And apparently he was the only one that did not interview in person at Denver.
So how real was the interview? So spare me the my heart is at U of M. No, it's not. You would have been in somebody else's bed if they would have had you.
Yep.
So just cut it out. I don't need it.
Yep. He's like the Uber driver that's just trying to sell you his mixtape, too, that he does on the side.
Right. I'm a party promoter. Here's a flyer. I just want to know from Michigan fans if you're good. Talk to me. I mean, your team's going to be awesome next year. And clearly you've got your NIL program up and running where you're paying your players to return to school, which, by the way, is the right thing to do.
I like the fact that they've named it the 1 more year.
I'm fine with it.
Right. I'm like, yeah, you embraced it. You owned it. My
Like, if
thing
you're a
is,
State fan and you don't think MSU paid Keon Coleman, I got a bridge in Brooklyn to sell you. This is what you have to do to keep your players. And with Michigan getting the 2 linemen back or getting, Corum back, guys, you're playing the game. The only thing you're not doing is what Miami or A&M or Oregon are doing. And guess what? Wait for it.
you shouldn't.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody even knows if that's a good idea.
Yeah. I would simply say this. I guess I'll see you next year, Jim, when we do this same time.
Oh, no way.
Come on. Why not? Because next year is the year that
Because the recruiting
you've lost
is
your quarterback.
tanking.
You've lost your quarterback. You've lost your running back. You've lost. Right now, this looks like everybody's in for one more go at this thing, including
And then
Jim.
what? Nobody wants him in the NFL, Rico.
Maybe his brother will bring him in the internship program.
Oh, stop. Come on. Now we're making things up. I'm talking about legitimately he has tried for 3 years in a row to get an NFL job. It hasn't worked. This year might have been the most pathetic. That at the height of his powers, at the zenith of his career at Michigan, he couldn't get a real interview. He talked on the phone because he wouldn't stop calling David Tepper, and he was the only candidate to not get an actual in-person interview with Denver. He couldn't do it.
No, and I think you put it best, Ben Johnson, first year at OC, is a hotter commodity than you back-to-back college football playoffs. That should tell you a lot.
The problem for Michigan fan is this. If you're going to say, well, we're winning, yeah, but for how much longer? Your recruiting is going – no, it does matter. It's very relevant. Your recruiting's going downhill. If you don't get the players, you don't win the games.
Right, but I say it doesn't matter because you look at Rams fans. You got that Super Bowl. Your team's garbage. It's going to be garbage for a while, but you could pop in, the DVD. You could go online and watch a Super Bowl victory.
Wait, so you endured 20 years of being Ohio State's bitch to win 2 games? That's all it took?
Yeah, bar's low, man.
No,
yeah.
I don't accept that. I don't accept that. Michigan's too good of a program to accept that.
No, but you went to back-to-back college football playoffs.
And what did you do? You got decapitated in year 1, and you bleeped down your leg in year 2. I wouldn't exactly frame a picture of that.
But in the end, people only remember you made it.
Okay.
As the years fade, Mike.
Good.
As the years fade, they forget what happened in the games.
Good.
You can just say we made it.
Maybe they'll put the halo around the stadium and title it "We Made It."
See,
Go ahead, David. I'm not cutting you off or Rico.
No, I know.
I get upset about it.
I'm just trying.
Harbaugh should be building a monolith. He should be turning Michigan into a national powerhouse. All you're doing is taking advantage of a bad Big Ten, and you're missing on your window to reclaim maybe a place you haven't had since World War II.
Because how about this? Ohio State followed that blueprint for about 10 years. Big Ten's bad. We're going to be better. We're going to run this thing. And they recruited, and they made sure that it wasn't going to be just a one-class thing, but it went over classes.
Right.
I've told David this. You should be in the heyday. You should be talking about how great your season was, looking forward to next year. Instead, for the second year in a row, you're playing, yep, that's what you're thinking about. Is our coach going to leave? You don't even get to enjoy the fruits of your labor. That's the sad reality.
And I leave it to Rico, but it's factual. It is hurting recruiting. You can't outrun your coach might not be there. You can't outrun he has looked to the league 3 straight years. You can't. I know the league doesn't want him. You know it, guys. I know that Michigan's the best fit for him. You know it. Does he know it? Because all this is either a guy in it because he has to be, which is what I said to you Friday. You're in it for the kids. You don't love each other anymore. It's pretty clear there is nothing between him and Ward because Ward is just changing dirty diapers. And second of all, if the school had any ability to get rid of him, they would have done it during COVID. Every other school would have. You didn't. They need him. And he needs you. But the problem is every year this continues. And I think Rico brings up a really interesting point that within the commentary, there's not a deal done. And I sure hope the Freep FOIAs every nook and cranny. What's he going to do with all that money? So I'm sorry.
Flag.
No, that's not a flag, David. That's an anti-flag.
I'm just calling it like I said. And by the way, I don't care what's in his contract. I just care about the buyout. I'd like to know that for like sports reasons.
But what promises were made?
I don't care. That's my answer. I don't care.
See, but let me say this, though, because I did have a friend text me immediately after the news that said, you know what? As long as he's winning the Big Ten championship, I don't care what he does.
And that's okay if that's how a fan operates. I don't.
I'm kind of in that boat, but I need more. Look, if you're going to flirt with the NFL every year, then get me to the title game. Whatever happens there, we'll see what happens when we get there. Just get me to the title game. But you can flirt with the NFL every year, in my mind, as long as you get me there. It's like people in relationship. David, some people okay with getting cheated on, as long as they're comfortable.
David. Right, but so long as everything is going well, but you're I mean, imagine the beauty of it was K got hurt, you had JJ. JJ gets hurt, what do you got? An orgy in the end zone. Exactly.
No, and Rico brings up a good point here. Guys, I get it. It was fun to make fun of MSU for the portal, and it was the only reason, K9, et cetera. Well, dude, you're hammering the portal. You're trying to outrun a speeding train the same way Mel Tucker was. So it sounds great when people laud you and go, you have the top 5 portal class, but I'm pretty sure Spartan fans are happy to tell you, yeah, it doesn't always work out. And second of all, when you're trying to use the portal because you can't get the Georgia, the Alabama, the Ohio State players, which you're not, that's kind of alarming considering, wait for it, I'm being nice to you. Michigan is a fabulous brand. It is a fabulous school, and they have taken over the Big Ten. If you're not getting the players now, you're not going to. And that bothers me if I'm a fan. Because your job as a coach is to not make short money. It's to make long-term money. It's to elevate, as Rico put it. Ohio State had their 2 decades of dominance. Now you want to spend 2 decades in the bathtub. And instead, I got to tell you, I think most people around look at it as pretty fleeting. Because if you don't have the horses to run the race, you're not going to win. So enjoy it while it lasts, I guess, because instead of Harbaugh building something you can all enjoy for a decade, him and this nonsense of his is what's hurting you. Have I spoken out of turn, Rico? You are the recruiting expert.
No, Mike, you're not getting the 5. You're not getting 5 stars. You got one. He was a legacy last year. He was going to go to Michigan regardless, and Will Johnson. Other than that, no, you're swinging and missing. You're not replenishing the troops, and that's how Ohio State stayed on top for so long, is they were able to replace the Bosas with the Chase Young, with this. They were able to go from quarterback to quarterback to
I'll give you an example.
running back to running back to running back.
Like if I'm a Michigan fan, I'm not excited Cornelius Johnson's coming back. I would hope you'd have a stud high school player that's been in the program for 2 years ready to be the next great Michigan wideout. You don't.
Yeah, that you would have been able to keep Xavier Worthy in-house, and that would have been exciting.
Oh, dear. 248-539-9797.
Mike, that was just, you want but you're Michigan. You should be able to get those types of players to come there.